Hey YouTube, Tyler here with the Kingdoms TCG, and thank you for clicking on this video. In today's video, it is going to be a match between Austin and Austin, the 6th seed and the 7th seed. Austin C playing with Estercrest and Austin S playing with Linford. And you guys are going to be in for a good one. It is a long match, but watch the whole thing. There are a lot of crazy and cool things that happen in the middle of it. Let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, so here we go for another match in the Final Four. On the left, we have Austin C coming in, I believe, at the 7th seed, and then on the right we have Austin S coming in at the 6th seed. Austin S had only 2 games to go through. He didn't have much to go through. Then Austin C, we've seen a couple videos of him. Austin S is going first. He's going to open up with a turn 1/3 token, and he's going to send Coppersmith to the graveyard. Austin S is opening up with Marketplace as his Phase 1 Sacred, and then Austin C has Tannis' Dwelling Place as his Phase 1 Sacred. They're both at 1400 health. So Austin C opening up with a powerful turn, 2 secrets, 2 free Estercrest soldiers because of Tannis' Dwelling Place effect, and he's going to do an Outpost Tower. Going to be able to look at 2 cards in his Fortress and going to shuffle them back in. So definitely a great way for Austin C on the left to open up, especially against a pretty fast-paced Linford deck. Linford being fast-paced, it's good if Tannis can start building momentum, because once that momentum gets going, it's really hard to get over. It's really hard to get over them. So having those 2 cards with defensive and +2, Tannis' Dwelling Place brings down cards attack. So furthermore, just putting Austin C on the left just in a really good position. So excellent opening turn for Austin. You couldn't really ask for a better setup. And Austin C is going to dive right in and already deal a significant amount of damage and already bring down Austin S's Marketplace, already down to 500. So let's see what Austin can do. Austin is going to do the Marketplace ability. Going to send a Lost Cause to the graveyard, which is kind of interesting because that is allowing him not to protect his own cards, but he is going to be sending down his own secret spell of his choice. Austin is sitting at 8 Magicka, so even though he might not have the board state as powerful as Austin C, he still has the ability to play a couple more cards than maybe Austin is able to, the other Austin. Austin going to play this smart. He is going to play a Tradesman. Tradesman is a pretty interesting neutral battle card. For the, I guess the biggest thing to point out is that for a Phase 1 cost 4 card, it does have 600 health, which is going to be really tough for Austin C on the left to get over at this moment, because Estercrest does not have strong attacking cards, and so it's just a matter of seeing, okay, is there anything he can do to get over that. Tradesman will give him +4 Magicka on the next turn if Austin S desires to send that to the graveyard. Austin C is going to play a Watchmaker. It's going to allow him to draw a card and lay down another secret, which just really puts the ball on Austin S's side of the court, and for a need of response, because if he's not able to do anything, Austin on the left is just going to be able to continue just to really dominate by having 4 cards on the field, having 3 secrets. The only thing that could potentially hold Austin on the left, the only thing that could hold him back, is the fact that he has no tokens right now. If he plays a secret, he might not even have enough Magicka to play a secret right now, but even if he does, he's not going to have enough to play cards during his turn. Austin is going to play Coppersmith. He's going to buff his Tradesman with an extra 200 attack, and so that's going to put him at a 400, 600 now. So now he has a beater, or actually, excuse me, a 200, 1,000. Depends on how he's using it. Let me see. So Coppersmith does do the +200, +100 when it's attached. So Tradesman, because of Coppersmith's attachment effect, Tradesman no longer can be sent to the graveyard for the +4 Magicka bonus. But now Tradesman is now a 400 attack, 700 defense, or 700 health battle card, which is just going to be super tough for Austin on the left to get over.
minus 200, minus 100 attack here. So you'd be 300, not 400.
Adding 200.
So like you are impressed with it overall?
Still minus 100.
I understand.
So Austin's just clarifying both of the effects of the cards. Tance's dwelling place bringing down 100 attack to Austin S's battle cards, but the bonus that tradesman receives from Coppersmith. So Austin C is going to bring out a Hawk. He's going to give a card defensive, and Surveillance Eagle cannot be attacked on Austin S's next turn. And he is going to put Austin S into his next sacred, which is going to be Schwal Waterfall, sitting at 2,000 health. And what's really good for him is just to make it even more difficult for Austin C to get over is it's going to make all of Austin S's Linford battle cards have plus 100 health. So for Estercrest being a kingdom that already does not have a lot of attack power, it's going to make it that much more difficult for them to get over. The only thing that's difficult is you can attack Schwal Waterfall directly unless Austin is able to play a card that says otherwise. So really, Austin S can play any card he wants, but Austin's just going to continue to just wail on Austin S's Sacred. Again, with Linford being such a fast-paced deck, if you can outpace them, if you can out-momentum them, which in the case, this is what Estercrest is doing right now, just building, just has solid momentum that it's going to be really hard to stop right now, that's what you got to do. Austin S is going to play Master's Table. He's just seeing this as a better opportunity just to lay some Magicka down. He sees that if he just starts playing some cards, it might be too late to play a token. So he's saying that right now it's just a better time to play a token and hopefully give him a better response turn if possible. Austin C is going to swing in with a total of 1,200 damage to Austin S's Sacred, already bringing it down to 800. Schwal Waterfall, you could say, is maybe one of the meta Sacreds. It's still to be figured out. Again, more games need to be played, but having 2,000 health is an insane amount of health. But we're seeing that right now. If you can get a good board state and you have no cards to stop it as a person that has it, then it can't do anything. Oh, man. Unfortunately for Austin S, he did have Written Law, which was going to be a great card to use against Estercrest, which he was going to call out defensive, which was going to make Austin C's all of his battle cards have to get rid of defensive permanently. But because of all those secret spells, again, just keeping Austin's dominance, being able to play Divine Wisdom and cancel that spell, making Austin's turn be for naught. Austin is going to play a 4 token. He's going to have to send 2 cards to the graveyard. I saw on top is Tulsa Guardsman. Kind of stinks, but not the best of battle cards, so it's not the end of the world. But still, Austin C just in a domineering position. All right, so this is where it could get a little interesting.
Is that what you manually put down all the time?
So Austin S does have a Phase 3 Skylight Fountain, which looking at his overall match or his overall stats, he chose Fountain for every single game up to this point as his Sacred Phase 3, and he only lost twice out of the prior to this out of the 5 times that he's played, so he has a pretty good record. So now Austin S is actually kind of in a pretty good position for a couple reasons. One, he has an incredibly large amount of base Magicka, 8 with the 3 token, 12 with the Master's Table as well. He has Tradesman, which he buffed with Coppersmith, and now is sitting at a 400, 700 battle card. Austin now played Lothian, which dealt 400 damage to Austin C's Sacred, which brought that down to 100. And then on top of that, Lothian has that ability, that Impact 3 ability, to give plus 4 Magicka on the next turn. Plus, with Skylight Fountain, Austin C has nothing to do to get over those cards. Austin C's only hope right now is that he can just kind of stall, get some cards in his hand because Estercrest struggles in drawing cards, and hope that he can get to a card that can maybe get over that tradesman. Austin right now can honestly just take his time, sit comfortably, and just start playing those secrets down. And now it's starting to look like maybe the momentum is shifting in Austin S's favor. Again, kind of going over what I've said in previous videos. A strategy can be that if you're falling behind, let your opponent stay in their sacred phase that they're currently in and allow yourself to come back. Austin C with Charlotte in his hand. At this point, Charlotte would serve no purpose just because it'd be a wasted card, because now that Austin S is in Phase 3, he can play any card that he wants, and now that he has unlocked the Phase 2, Phase 3 cards, he's going to be able to destroy any card, any Phase 1 card that Austin C brings out. So really, it's better that Austin C holds on to that. Austin going to take his turn, draw a card, is going to play Rabid Dog. Rabid Dog does have Rage. Unfortunately, all those cards that have defensive on Austin C's side still do have defensive because that written law was canceled out, but Austin C is not going to swing in and attack. He's just going to leave Rabid Dog out and see what he can do. Looking at Austin C's deck construction, my apologies, he relies heavily on Earthquake. Earthquake is one of his more favorable cards, and the reason why that's the case for a lot of Estercrest players, not just him, is because Estercrest struggles with getting cards. So if they have an opportunity to protect that card is that much more important. Of course, for the exact opposite, one of Austin S.'s most favorite card in his fortress that he has is Bar Bouncer, which allows him to bounce those 2 cards, any 2 cards of his choice. So see what he does.
Outpost Tower will kill.
Austin C swinging in, killing the Rabid Dog, and then Austin S brought out with Rabid Dog's effect, brought out Hawk, and then Hawk is quickly killed not too short after that. Austin C ending his turn, having more than 6 cards in his hand, sending Disciplined Soldier to the graveyard. Interesting card to send, but maybe he has better cards in his hand. Austin S took his turn, draw a card, and is not going to do anything. Just going to continue to build up his hand. Wow. Okay, so this changes things. This now has to put Austin S in a quick response mode. Austin C bringing out Esbrook. Esbrook is a very, very powerful legend. I mean, that would make sense because it is a legend. I wonder if he played this card wrong, though. Actually, he didn't. Never mind. Pretend I did not say any of that. You would think, even after making the game, that you would have a full grasp of it, but I guess not yet. So there are a couple cards that Austin C has in his hand, but it looks like some of them would be completely irrelevant for him to play right now. But thankfully, though, Austin finally does have that answer to get over that tradesman. Playing against Linford, really tradesman, especially being buffed to where it's at, is really an anomaly compared to what you're used to playing against Linford Kingdom deck, which typically has high attack, low health cards. You're not worried about dealing with high health battle cards when you're playing against Linford. So thankfully, Austin does have a way to out that card. And you know what? Now that Esbrook is out, Austin C is going to see that it is a viable option and worthwhile to play Charlotte. Charlotte's going to give all those cards defensive, just making it further more problematic for Austin S to deal any damage to Austin Sacred, which is currently sitting at only 500 health. If you could just get rid of that 500 health, put him in Phase 2, because +2, if you've forgotten, there is that -100 effect against all of Austin S's battle cards for the attack because of Tannis' Dwelling Place, that's why it's a ultra rare, that's why it's a really good Sacred, and that's why Austin chooses it for his Phase 1. Wow, Austin S being fortunate, playing it against a Linford player against an Estercrest player. It is smart to run multiple written laws. I predicted at first that written law was just going to be a great card for the meta, but it really turns out that it is a anti-Estercrest card. Unless you're running against a Linford deck that really utilizes the rage ability, really the best it's against is defensive, because defensive just makes things difficult. You have to waste cards attack because you're having to trade. And really good play for Austin, who is sitting with 2 cards in his hand, but he did play Silversmith, giving his tradesman plus 100 defense or 100 health. Unfortunately, Esbrook could still get over that if he wanted to, but just anything to do, Austin's going to do that because he needs to preserve Skylight Fountain, and having those cards out in the field helps. Skylight Fountain has a great effect, but only having 1,000 health makes it really difficult.
So this one will kill your Silversmith.
Austin's going to trade the Estercrest Soldier for the Silversmith. Estercrest Soldier has 300 attack, and Silversmith has 300 health, so that's why they both go to the graveyard, because in combat, it's your battle card's attack versus your opponent's battle card's health. Unless there's bleed, then bleed changes the way things is done. Austin C, though, not going to be hesitant, very fast to do Summoner's Call and bring out another Estercrest Soldier, the one that was just into the graveyard, and Austin S is going to go ahead and draw his card. This game has happened so fast at this point that there's still a lot of cards that Austin S has yet to get to, so it's not as if he's run out of ammunition. It's not that he's run out of steam. Really, it's just been a matter of he hasn't been able to pick up any steam. It seemed like for a second he was going to be able to start getting back, getting those 2 tokens down, starting to play those cards, but really he just has nothing that he can do. And the thing, too, is that you don't know what secrets Austin S has laid down. Which is causing Austin C to be a little hesitant to attack, especially with that Esbrook, because if he loses Esbrook, he loses a lot of momentum that's in his favor. Austin S can use Summoner's Call, going to bring out Rabid Dog having Rage, and then having the effect that once it dies from battle, once it's sent to the graveyard, or just once it enters the graveyard, you can bring back a battle card with 400 attack or less to the field. It just can't do it to itself. This is a great a great card for Austin S to be using, because again, right now Austin S is trying to just keep cards out in the field. So with that bonus, or with that effect that Rabid Dog has, Austin is just kind of buying him that extra time, that extra shielding to make sure a card is always staying on the field. Austin C's Sacred Tannis' Dwelling Place is currently at 500, and Austin S's Sacred Skylight Fountain is still at 1,000. That has yet to be touched. Austin C on the left is currently sitting at 9 Magicka. Does have Charlotte, which also has an ability, the impact ability similar to Lothian, where for 3 Magicka, you can give yourself plus 3 Magicka for next turn. Only thing that makes Lothian different is for an impact 3 ability, you get plus 4 Magicka next turn. Austin C going to draw a card. He is going to kill Rabid Dog. That's going to activate Rabid Dog's effect, and so Austin S is just going to kind of figure out which card he wants to look for.
How much health did he have?
100.
Surveillance evil.
Wow. Just really crafty playing from Austin. He's going to bring out Silversmith, and he's going to give plus 100 health to Tradesman. So now Tradesman, for Phase 1, cost 4 battle card, is now sitting at 400, 900. And so eventually it is going to get to the point where even Esbrook is not going to be able to get over that neutral card. And then Austin C is really going to be kicking himself in the butt for not wanting to get over that. So really smart playing from Austin S. Typically you would see most people in his situation start to panic, start to play cards without even thinking. And really playing smart here. This is a really interesting game. I hope you guys are enjoying this and kind of learning some of the more in-depth and strategic gameplay style. Certainly the other games have been good, but once you start to get that higher level of gameplay, you start to see these things that are just really a lot of fun to watch. Austin going to bring out Hawk, and he's going to give Silversmith Rage. He doesn't want to give Tradesman Rage because he wants to keep that card alive. Might as well give one of the other cards Rage, Silversmith, see what he can do. Austin going to play down a 2 token, therefore giving him more Magicka. Now just a matter of figuring out who is going to attack who.
I'll use my other Estercrest to kill silver.
It's quite crazy as we near the 20th minute, as we get close to the 20th minute of the match. Austin S is still managing to stay in the game, still at 1,000 health, and honestly in a pretty good spot. He's got 2 secrets down. He has a very powerful card out on the field. He has plenty of Magicka. He's got a spirit attached to the sacred. He's got a lot of stuff going for him. Gonna bring out Time Scribe. Time Scribe is an excellent card to be bringing out at this point, and honestly for Austin, this card serves 2 purposes. It can serve its purpose as either A, just being another meat shield, so that way Austin C cannot attack directly at Skylight Fountain, or Austin S can just freely attack with it, freely kill it, send it to the graveyard, and now Austin has an ability to send Time Scribe from the graveyard to the Forgotten just to completely end Austin C's attack phase, which could potentially be the thing, just the play that wins Austin the game.
He's on bridge. So that's why I'm not attacking for.
You hear some people talking to Austin on the left about why he has yet to attack and destroy the cards, and he's just expressing that he's a little fearful about what those two secrets are that Austin on the right has. But that, I guess, in hearing that from both a spectator view, but also for Austin on the right, what that tells him inadvertently is that those two secrets that Austin on the left has laid down are more than likely earthquakes or blocks. They're not cancel spells or whatever, because if he had a cancel spell, having as much Magicka that Austin on the left has, he would be able to just freely attack, knowing that he has more than enough Magicka to play both Divine Wisdoms if he had two of them to cancel a spell. So that shows Austin that he has to be careful too what he's attacking with when attacking the defensive cards. But you never know. Austin on the right could have a Divine Wisdom, therefore making it difficult for Austin to protect Austin on the left to protect his own cards that have defensive.
Did anyone's health change?
Not recently.
Because
Wow.
got defensive and he's got
Austin going to bring out an Empower, and clearly at this point a couple things can be known. First of all, now Austin on the left is wondering, is this a bad decision? Because he never attacked Tradesman in the first place, and this could be a card that will come to haunt him for the rest of the game. And so now Tradesman, they're doing the math, and Power gives plus 200 to a card. Wow. So now Tradesman is now sitting at 500 attack and 1,000 health. 500 attack and 1,000 health. That is insane. And so now we're going to see what Austin's going to do on the left. The card's just getting better and better, Tradesman. And it's just going to be really difficult to see what Austin on the left can do. Austin on the left, his Sacred Tannis' Dwelling Place is currently sitting at... I think I've been saying it wrong this whole time. My apologies. I believe he's sitting at 600, and then Marketplace is still at 1,000.
he doesn't want to attack this because of certain reasons. I don't want to attack.
So now they're kind of at a stalemate. They both do not want to attack because they know what secrets are laid down. That's the only disadvantage with it being only the first set in the game so far, is the card pool is very limited. And granted, as more cards come out, the meta gets reshaped, and so people that are playing meta decks, they know what cards you're going to be playing against and what to expect, and so you could still end up with a stalemate. But once more cards get in the rotation, more choices are available, and better card effects and abilities get attached to battle cards and sacreds and tokens and all the other cards as well, then it might not result in these types of stalemates where people are a little hesitant to attack.
Does that count as a battle card since it's the same color and everything?
No. This card no longer counts as a battle card.
Austin is going to bring out a pack of wolves. So again, just keeping those 5 cards out on the field.
I killed a 0/0.
Right.
Austin on the right going to draw a card, see what he's going to do. He's just hanging in there. He's got 3 cards in his hand. Austin on the left, it looks like he has maybe 4 or 5 cards in his hand. So both of them have plenty of cards. Wow. Austin is going to bring out another Empower. And looking at the deck composition checklist that I had all of the players fill out before the tournament, Empower was the second favorite card of Austin on the right. That Austin, the card that he preferred. And let's see, he actually ran 3 of these in his Fortress. So I'll be curious to see if he gets yet another Empower, if he's just going to put it on Tradesman and just try to, just add icing on the cake. So depending if it appears that they've changed how the dice is now representing the stats on Tradesman. I believe Tradesman is now at 700, 1,200. So now Esbrook's attack which I believe is only 1,000.
Almost.
Yep, Esprick's attack is only 1,100. So now, unless Austin is able to bring out a card such as an Empower himself, he has no chance of getting over Tradesman.
We'll do Time Scribe.
Austin does run an Empower, so that would give him the ability to maybe get over that Tradesman. He does not run an Incinerate, so that makes it a little bit difficult to get over that card. He's not going to have a way to just out that. So really, the only hope that Austin on the left has is Earthquake, and hoping that he can somehow just trick Austin into declaring an attack and making him fall short. I apologize for the bad video, by the way. That light just clearly reflecting on those cards. Thankfully, nothing has happened too much where, we're having to stay on top of what's happening there. But hopefully that doesn't factor into the rest of the gameplay. So now we're just kind of sitting at a stalemate. Austin on the left, he is going to do Charlotte's ability, the Impact 3 ability to give him +3 Magicka next turn. He's at more than 6 cards in his hand, so he is going to send Disciplined Soldier to the graveyard. And now Austin on the right going to play a Lancer. I believe this is his first Lancer that he's played all game, which is quite shocking to be a Linford player. Lancer's the type of card you hope to get to phase 1, and it took Austin getting to phase 3 all that time to finally get to that.
I'm guessing you're throwing another copper on
Austin is going to search in his fortress. Not quite sure what he's going to be looking for. He could be looking for a Hawk to do some rage, or he could be looking for Coppersmith to just further buff the stats of Tradesman, just making it a card that Austin is just not going to be able to get over. We'll see what he brought out. If he plays something and attaches it right away, then we'll know. If not, then we'll know that it's something that he's saving for later. Ooh, this is interesting. So he's gonna bring out a Coppersmith, and so this is sneaky. So Time Scribe's effect does not happen till it's in the graveyard. So Austin can risk just giving Time Scribe these bonuses and not worry about the negative effects that it will lose its effect, because the effect is a graveyard effect. And because Time Scribe is a card that you want in the graveyard, putting that Coppersmith on the Time Scribe is just going to honestly make it a kind of a brainless decision to just go in, swing in with the attack, and kill one of the Estercrest soldiers.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's just seriously. Lancer kills bird.
Austin is going to swing with his Lancer, kill the Surveillance Eagle, because now none of the cards have defensive, and so even if Austin on the left did have a block, he maybe would have played it by now, but looks like that's not going to happen. Probably just 2 Earthquakes down. Austin is not going to swing in with Tradesman. That he has invested way too much in that card to just go ahead and just throw it into the Sacred. He wants to know for a fact that he's not going to lose that card, and so maybe Austin himself doesn't have a card that he could use to cancel a spell or whatever.
For what?
They're back in.
So are we not allowed to talk that much?
Alright, so Austin on the left is going to be using Charlotte's Impact 11 ability. This is a card right now that is definitely under the thought of, does it need to be banned and or limited right now. Its ability says this: for 11 Magicka, if there are 2 or more copies of a Tannis battle card in your graveyard, call up to 2 of them to the field and give them defensive and bleed. So I guess the only thing that's maybe not as good is that they do have bleed, but nonetheless, it's just cards that are going to continue to come out to the field. And if those are 2 Earthquakes that Austin on the left does have in those secret slots, which it's more than likely that's what he has, then it's just going to make it difficult for Austin to get into attack. That's the thing, especially with Estercrest Sacreds, and then if you're able to attach a Tannis spirit to it, it just makes it really difficult to touch it at all, especially once you start getting the card unity of the Estercrest cards out in the field. So now, really, as for Austin as a Linford player, what he needs to do is just find that right moment to slip in, get rid of a couple cards, and just wipe out the Tannis' dwelling place. That'll give the plus 100 attack back to his battle cards, and it'll get rid of that Charlotte. That Charlotte Spirit, which is really a excellent spirit card for Estercrest.
I didn't even read it, to be honest, so that was my fault. When I had you get me 2 of those, I didn't even read it, I just assumed it was the same.
Yes, but I did the same for Dark Assassin. I assumed it was 8 freaking Magicka.
Yeah.
Trash.
It sounded good. I remember when him and I first made the real Dark Assassin, it sounded really good.
Austin on the left drew his card, trying to figure out what he wants to do. And he's just not going to do anything. He did the thing that stinks is that Impact 11 ability that costs 11 Magicka, so he had nothing he could do. Austin does have more than 6 cards in his hand, and this is unfortunate for Estercrest because cards are they're important. I know cards are important for all kingdoms, for all players, but for any Tannis player, which the only Tannis kingdom out right now is Estercrest, cards are valuable. And it just shows you how tough a decision to send cards to the graveyard because Austin is sending a Mountain Yeti to the graveyard, and Mountain Yeti is one of the better cards that Estercrest has. And Estercrest allows you to draw a card when it dies from battle, and Estercrest needs any draw card ability or any card draw effect at that matter to do. Wow. Austin is going to bring out Bar Bouncer. He's going to bounce He's going to bounce Defender, Estercrest Soldier, and Esbrook. And so now, holy smokes, Bar Bouncer is sitting at 1,400 attack.
So we don't have 15-sided die.
Wow.
I wasn't even talking about that.
You know, to be in Phase 3 and have such an amazing board state with plenty of Magicka, 2 secrets, Lothian on Skylight Fountain, Austin S is sitting in a very powerful position, and the momentum is definitely starting to swing in his favor as we have now crossed the 30-minute mark. Austin is going to use Time Scribe to kill the Surveillance Eagle, and he's going to officially bring Austin into Phase 2. He does have the Great Defense Training Ground, so that's pretty good.
You just lost your 100
And now that minus 100 effect is going away because of Tannis' dwelling place going away, so now Time Scribe is now a 6/4. Tradesman has 800 attack, and Bar Bouncer, wow, has 1,400 attack. And now's the part of the video where I like to take a quick break and do something that I like to call Bible talk. If you're not into Christianity, if you're not into the Bible, don't worry. I'll only take a minute or 2 of your time, so don't worry. I was reading from the book of 1 Chronicles the other day, and the thing about 1 Chronicles and any or a majority of the books that are in the Old Testament, a lot of them are written with the purpose of telling future generations of their past. And so a person by the name of Ezra, who also has a book of his own in the Bible, is the one that is claimed or accredited to writing the book of 1 Chronicles. In reading the story of 1 Chronicles, the story that Ezra is using to remind all the Israelites as they've come back from exile, is the story of David. And the one thing that was interesting is that in the story of David, if you know or are a Christian, you should know the story of David, where David was a great and mighty king, and he sinned, he messed up, he had an affair, he murdered a man, but thankfully he was able to bounce back and continue living the life that God wanted him to live. In the story of 1 Chronicles, though, Ezra tells the whole story of David, but leaves out that one detail. And so what it has me thinking right now at this moment, and it's something that I want to process a little bit more, is why did Ezra exclude that one detail? I don't think it was because he was trying to be deceiving or lie about who David was, because Ezra did make sure to point out that David did have other mess ups, but he didn't point out that one particular mess up. And I think after thinking about it for a little bit, I think the reason why he did not put it in there is because he's trying to show that just because you had something major that they messed up on, that David messed up on, that does not define who he is. So maybe you're someone that believes in Jesus and you know that there is a certain way that we ought to be living our lives, but you get tripped up or caught up in something that you have done in the past, and you just feel that because of that, you are therefore disqualified to be the person that God wants you to be. And I'm telling you that that's not the case. That's not the case, and that you can continue to move on and become the son or daughter of God that God has designed and wants you to be. That's all I got to say. Let's go ahead and jump right back in the gameplay video. The Great Defense Training Ground is the only other Estercrest Sacred in the moment in the game. It says that when applicable, give +0, +100 health to a friendly battle card. So the first card, so in this case, Pack Wolves should have received that +100 health effect. And then it says Estercrest battle cards and legends with defensive gain an additional 100 health, which could be helpful, especially because Linford does have heavier hitting power. Any chance to put some more health on defensive battle cards is a good help. So this is where it can get problematic for Austin. Is you got 5 cards, you only have 5 cards that you can put down for your battle card slots. Austin already has 3 down, and all 3 of those cards he has invested a lot into. Bar Bouncer, that is a high amount of health, or excuse me, a high amount of attack, so you don't want to risk losing that card to a potential secret. Tradesman, he's invested way too much into. That's a card that he almost doesn't want to touch at all until he knows for a fact that it can swing in without being hurt at all. Time Scribe is the only card where you could contemplate going ahead and swinging in and risking it, because if Austin on the left doesn't choose to play that Earthquake that he has down in the secret slot, then Austin on the right is getting a free kill. If Austin on the left does decide to use the Earthquake, then Time Scribe is being sent to where it needs to be, and that is in the graveyard.
The good old days.
And what happens is people forget, the people that your opponent will often forget that you have sent Time Scribe to the graveyard. And so there will be moments where they think that they have the game in the bag. They'll be swinging in for that final attack, and then you just send Time Scribe from the graveyard to the Forgotten, completely ending their turn.
Yeah, 2 of them.
4,000 health.
It's best when you use the Shadow of Confusion on one of them, and then Barbon stuff.
Which one's the shadow?
Switching his health into attack permanently.
Austin on the left just trying to figure out what he wants to do, seeing who he can swing in at. This is where Estercrest begins to struggle because he got no cards that can deal a lot of heavy hitting power. He is going to use Summoner's Call to bring out an Estercrest Soldier, and just kind of further defending himself, because yeah, it's a 300 with defensive, but what's important is that Austin more than likely has Earthquakes down for at least one of his secrets, which guarantees that he could at least kill one of Austin's powerful battle cards that he has out in the field.
Guys, plus 200 health. This guy has plus 100 health. What's it do? Plus 100 health to all friendly battle cards, plus 200 if they have defense. So 5, 7, and 3.
So Estercrest Soldiers are now sitting at 500 health because of the Great Defense Training Ground, and Guardsmen sitting at 700 health because of Tannis' dwelling place, or excuse me, the Great Defense Training Ground.
I'm gonna cheat and put in like River of Blessing for all the Estercrest. That's like my least favorite one.
Wow, so Austin going to bring out a Lancer, which is just going to allow him to look through his fortress for a card that he wants. And really, the momentum is sitting in his favor. It might not look like it. It's a little slow-paced. Again, it's just because of those secrets that are down on the field for Austin on the left. But you don't know what secrets Austin has on the right. He might, for a fact, have Lost Cause. Let's see, Austin on the right. He does run 2 of the Lost Causes, but he does run 3 of the Divine Wisdoms. So it is possible that it could be one of each or a couple of both. We'll see. Well, if Austin on left does have Earthquake, he still isn't finding it as a enough of a reason to use it to just keep one of those cards alive. and part of it is just because Austin on the right is being sneaky with who he's attacking with.
We will trade.
Okay, so Austin is going to reveal one of the earthquakes, is going to kill Austin's Lancer. Lancer is going to declare an attack against Guardsman because Lancer has 700 attack, and Guardsman has 700 health because of the Great Defense Training Ground.
That's his deck, so it's like his main deck, so we want to like see that one.
Austin thinking right now, he hasn't quite yet
Are you kidding me?
moved his Lancer to the graveyard. He must have a Divine Wisdom down in his secret slot. I think he's contemplating if he wants to spend that or not. Because if he does spend that 5 Magicka, then that's 5 less Magicka he has next turn. But of course, he has 3 awesome battle cards out in the field, so you almost are okay with doing that. Plus, you have Lothian out in the field. You're okay. He is going to let Earthquake resolve, which actually is going to be advantageous for him because now you know for a fact there's only 1 Earthquake left if it is an Earthquake. And so now he knows for a fact that he has 2 cards that he can swing in with, and only 1 could potentially be destroyed.
Tradesman will kill Estercrest.
Wow. So this is quite interesting. So because Earthquake costs 6 Magicka, that left Austin with only 5 Magicka left to spend. So because of that, Austin knew that he could freely attack, and he was able to completely wipe the board, and there's no Charlotte that Austin on the left can use to bring out some cards. Thankfully, Austin is able to bring out Mountain Yeti. He's able to get rid of that Bar Bouncer, which had 1,400 attack, and he's able to draw a card from Mountain Yeti, so definitely a great card that Austin was able to bring out at that moment. You kind of worry when you see Estercrest players having to send Mountain Yeti to the graveyard. It's normally not a good sign.
I was going to call you on improper calculation. Well played. Well played. He's not defensive. I draw.
Austin on the left, his Sacred is currently sitting at 1,600 health, but now that the door is wide open, Austin on the right can swing in whenever he wants, and Scarlet Fountain is still sitting at 1,000 health.
Nothing in the sacred.
We're approaching the 40th minute of this match, but this match has nonetheless been a very interesting match. A lot of back and forth, a lot of momentum. Even as someone that has made the game, I've learned a lot from this game, learned a lot of strategies, and really the biggest thing is being patient. That is one thing that people can sometimes not be good at doing, is being patient while playing the game. They can get a little anxiety, they can get rushed, they can get a little nervous, and they can start making plays that just aren't good for the game.
I had the marketplace out.
The Great Defense Training Ground is already going to be brought down to 100 health, and so now Austin on the left is just trying to find a way to get back in.
Yeah, man.
So I know that one of these is like an earthquake, but for his rage guys. So I didn't want to use my Estercrest against it because I would have just blown off.
Yeah, that's the crappy part. It's not just like cancel the attack. It's like you're destroyed. Too.
So Austin left, he does have Rock Mover. He does have Abandoned Army. You know, I'm honestly surprised that he doesn't bring out Rock Mover. Rock Mover would be an excellent card to bring out at the moment because that would allow him to completely just send tradesmen back to Austin's hand, which would therefore get rid of Coppersmith and you know, those bonuses and buffs and the rage ability that tradesman has as well.
Gonna put offensive on him.
So I think there was a slight mistake. And again, this can sometimes happen when you are falling behind massively.
Attacked him and died.
Is Abandoned Army is a phase 3 battle card, and Austin on the left is only in phase 2. So technically, Austin should not have been able to bring out Abandoned Army. And it's understandable why he did that, because he was just trying to get rid of cards, and so he figured he could just swing in with a Pack of Wolves. Once Pack of Wolves dies, now Abandoned Army goes up to an 800 that he could use to attack with, and he did give Abandoned Army defensive as well. So unfortunately, just little things in the game right there. I'll be curious to see if this affects the way the match goes. If Austin on the left wins, is it because this card was played in the improper turn? Or if he loses, then, so be it. I'm really surprised Austin on the left has not played Rock Mover. That would have been a card that I would have played. Rock Mover is one of the cards similar to Washaways and also similar to Dark Assassin are battle card effects that can't. There's no cards that negate it at the moment. Austin going to bring out his final Empower. This is quite funny to see a Time Scribe being buffed to like none other with incredible stats. He's sitting at an 800, 600 now, Time Scribe. But this is perfect because Abandoned Army, well, actually, this is where it's difficult. So Abandoned Army, it is 800, 800, and it has defensive. So it would make sense for, Austin on the right to swing him with Time Scribe. But because of the Great Defense Training Ground, Abandoned Army has plus 100 health. Austin is going to play Defender. It's going to make the other Austin on the right have to put a card in his hand into his Fortress. Defender is just a good card just to kind of stall your opponent and potentially make a card that allowed them to draw cards be ultimately a card that was played for no reason.
So every time I shuffle, they get backwards.
What did you want?
But yeah, it does.
Austin on left struggling to figure out what cards he wants to play. We're near minute 45 for the match. Does have a couple cards in his hand, but now as the game has went on, they were both kind of near the middle to 3/4 of the way through their Fortress. So now cards are starting to get really scarce, and so now they really got to be careful if they want to play a card or not. Austin on the left is going to be playing a Ally Supervisor, which is a great card. Let me go ahead and read what it says for you guys. It is a Phase 2, cost 7, and 300, 400. And whenever you play a neutral battle card, you give it defensive, and then Ally Supervisor has a plus 100 attack for each friendly battle card that is on the field with defensive. So this is a card that Austin could slowly build up to get over Tradesman, get over Time Scribe. But Austin on the right is bringing out another Time Scribe. So now what this means is Austin, if he wanted to, he could just play recklessly at this moment and just send in both Time Scribes to attack. Send them both to the graveyard, and then Austin is essentially buying himself 2 free turns where Austin on the left can't do anything. So Austin on the right does not hesitate to just go ahead and swing in with the unbuffed Time Scribe and just get it to the graveyard as soon as possible. Further, just putting him, I believe, at this moment ahead of Austin, but we'll see what happens.
I have 11 magic. 15.
Wow. So Austin on the left had 11 Magicka. He is going to send one of the cards from the field to the graveyard, and then Esbrook is able to bring out any 2 cards from the graveyard that have defensive that cost 5 or less each. Wow. And so he is going to bring out 2 Estercrest soldiers that both have defensive, and then more than likely, because of last turn and Austin on the left not being able to play another card, I'm pretty sure that that is an Earthquake that is at the bottom of his game mat, the blue game mat. And so this is tough. So now the question is the momentum back in Austin's favor? He has an Estercrest Sacred out, which gives all the defensive cards plus 200 health if it's a Estercrest card. He did bring out Esbrook, which does have the 1100 attack. The only disadvantage, though, is that Tradesman has 1200 health.
And he's still at, well, he's got Skylight protected by 3. Well, I'd say 2 because that other one. Watchmaker. Sorry,
Austin is going to play another Watchmaker. The only thing that stinks now is that Austin's board state on the right is completely full. Or no, it's not. He has 4 cards out in the field. It gets a little confusing with all the cards that he has out on the field. So he has played Empower and Coppersmith on Time Scribe. And then he has also played 2 Empowers and a Coppersmith on tradesman. Wow, Austin's going to bring out another bar bouncer. He's going to bounce Abandoned Army and Esbrook. And this is bad. This is pretty bad for Austin. Just putting cards back in the hand. Let's see. Austin S. Austin on the right. He runs 3 bar bouncers in his fortress. So we know one has already been sent to the graveyard. That is the second one. We are waiting to see the third one, which is really difficult for Austin on the left. Again, Estercrest is a momentum-based deck. They need time to generate a board state, and to not do it or to lose cards is really hurtful. Wow. So Austin is going to try playing an Earthquake to just keep a card alive. Austin S is going to play Divine Wisdom to get rid of a card. He is going to kill. He has now free reign to just go in and do whatever he wants to do. Training Ground has only 100 health, and now he's going to flip into River of Knowledge.
River of Knowledge.
It's not over. He's still got one.
Oh, still got one.
Oh, good job taking that.
When it's revealed, I can see the top 5 of my fortress and put them in any order.
So River of Knowledge, I'm curious to see if this card is going to work out in his favor. River of Knowledge allows you to look at the top 5 cards of your fortress and put them back in the order that you want. So for a kingdom such as Estercrest that struggles with card draw, you really need to be able to get to the cards that you need that will do what you need to do. So it looks like there's a Sumerian, an Empower, an Apprentice. It looked like a Defender as well, and a 3 token. So now he's just trying to set himself up for an ideal turn. It looks like he is going to put the Sumerian on top. Sumerian, he's going to be able to freely attach to the River of Knowledge and bring out some cards that have defensive. Yeah, he's just going to draw that card, freely play it. And what the thing about Sumerian that's nice too is Sumerian does give +2 Magicka.
When that's called the field.
Oh my god.
Comes out.
So this is big. So Austin is able to bring out 2 Estercrest soldiers, and unfortunately Esbrook, I believe, is 15 Magicka. So Austin does not quite. You don't want to get rid of Ally Supervisor. Ally Supervisor is a card that can get buffed. That could be a problematic card for Austin on the right to get over. And as we're nearing the 50th minute, both in Phase 3. And now it's just a matter of who plays the right card at the right time, or maybe who plays the wrong card at the wrong time.
How much health do these have?
600 and 1200. I built up my merchant man to withstand an Esbrook attack. Destroy my cabbages now.
Austin does have that Abandoned Army back in his hand. He does have Esbrook. He actually has 2 Esbrooks. He likes his Esbrooks, I guess. He likes to play those cards. And actually looking at his, he actually has 2 of them. He might have wrote down wrong how many he had in his deck list. He's going to bring out Abandoned Army. He's going to bring out Silversmith. So he's going to give +100 health or attack to Abandoned Army. He's going to kill the Bar Bouncer.
These 2 guys kill those 2 guys.
He's going to kill the 2 Watchmakers with Estercrest soldiers. But still, that is most likely. Well, the thing, he does have 2 Estercrest soldiers out. So Austin on the right cannot just freely swing in. So there's a way that he could partially stay alive. Only thing that stinks is maybe Austin forgot that he did have Time Scribe in his graveyard. He could have maybe just completely ended Austin's attack phase and just got rid of those cards himself.
Use that plus that. So that's 9. So I have 13 total. So that's 4 more.
13 total.
There's +2 here.
Every time?
All 5 of them.
This has been a crazy game, definitely a long game. I apologize for the length, but I have a feeling that the end is very near. Both of them being in Phase 3. It's just a matter of the person, whoever it may be, dealing the final blow. Skylight Fountain still sitting at 1,000. River of Knowledge sitting at 1,400. Only advantage that Austin really has on the right is that Skylight Fountain cannot be attacked if he has battle cards out on the field. He does have one more secret out in the field, which we don't know what that is yet. And Austin on the left has no secrets down. So it's just a matter of seeing what happens. Of course, you know, Austin on the left, he could potentially just start abusing some of Sumirin's impact abilities. The impact abilities say the following, if I can find them. So he could heal his Sacred for 100 health just to keep it alive, or you could give a battle card plus 200 health and defensive, which would be pretty crazy.
I had 4 left and that cost 4.
He's going to play a Threatening Warrior, give Ally Supervisor some extra health, and Austin on the right is going to play Lost Cause to keep a card alive. Of course, Austin on the right is sitting at Plenty Magica. He could do the Impact 12 ability to give old cards plus 200 attack and rage, just to guarantee that he could go in for the win. Austin going to play Outpost Tower, and he allows him to look at 2 cards, which could be crazy. You know, because they've dug into their fortresses so much, you kind of know what cards you're going to be looking at. If Austin could bring out a Bar Bouncer, that'd be the game, because then he's getting rid of those two defensive cards, and it'd be crazy.
After what? You used 5? So you were at 13 before? 5 plus 4 plus, so that's 12. Minus 5 is 7, yeah.
Oh, and this is game. Austin playing Summoner's Call, and Austin's just going to bring out Bar Bouncer, and Bar Bouncer's going to bounce the Estercrest soldiers, and that is game. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you were able to learn a lot from this gameplay video. What an excellent game. This was definitely a lot of fun for me to watch. I was not able to watch this game fully the night of the tournament, and it was really cool to watch this. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I am excited to see the finals that will be in next week's video. Thanks.
We have a winner over here.
Those should not be Summoner's Call worthy.
It was either the Summoner's Call.
Tyler, Bar Bouncers have to get sent to Forgotten.
Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you learned a lot from watching the match. I know for me, even as someone that has made the game, I was able to learn quite a bit about the game and different strategies, and ultimately patience when playing the game, and knowing that even if you do get to Sacred Phase 3, that you can still bounce back. And I hope you guys are also able to see kind of the strengths and the weaknesses of both Linford and Estercrest. With that, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, evening, or night whenever you're watching, and stay tuned for next week. Thanks.